Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and whatever day that you're watching this video. As I posted on my Instagram account, I wanted to make a video since it's around the holidays that, around Thanksgiving, Christmas time, most parents go out and buy tanks to give for their children for Christmas or just because. So I want to do like a setup on the way I set up my tanks for my betta fish and just my fish in general. So stay tuned. Okay, I wanted to show you. This is the tank that I got, and this was I don't know if it's still currently on sale, but I got the 2.5 gallon Retreat by Top Fin, and this comes with a LED light, 2.5 gallon tank, and filter that is built into the back. So please excuse the sounds in the background. That is my 1-year-old, as you can hear. And so on here it shows you, that's the filter, the LED light, and then here are the instructions on the back. So hopefully you can see that. So I will be setting up the tank, and these are the accessories that I got to go in it. I didn't get any decorations, which I will be getting soon. I didn't get the betta because I want to wait until the tank is fully cycled and ready. I normally wait at least 24 hours, 20 to 48 hours, just to be on the safe side to make sure everything is tested correctly with my water parameters. I'll be using Seachem Prim to dechlorinate the water, and then I will use the Microbe-Lift Nite Out, and this is for a new tank startup. I also will use the Nite Out water care, the special blend, to also add into the tank as well. This adds the bacteria, the nitrifying bacteria. Is not the nitrifying spores, it is the actual bacteria that will help jumpstart your tank. I don't know why I'm getting tongue-tied. Sorry. It's going to get your tank jump-started with adding the bacteria that you need. And I also have a sponge from a previous tank. Okay, let's go ahead and start with the unboxing. So we have the white box right here that has the LED light in it. Power cord for the LED light, and the glass top for the tank. Then you have your clips to hang onto the tank to hold the lid. Your instructions, which we all know we don't really use. Most of us don't use FCC instructions. Made out of glass. It has these sturdy stands on the bottom of them. Try not to put so many fingerprints on it. And then you have the top to the filter. You get a filter cartridge in it. I've read in the reviews it's hard to find these cartridges. So I'm going to start out using this because this tank won't be planted. It'll probably just have artificial plants in it. So I'm going to use this. So when it's time for this to be changed out and I cannot find a filter, I have some already established bio media that I'm going to put in there, and then I'm just going to buy, the floss by itself and some sponges to put into the filter, because it looks like you have enough room for not only the filter, which goes right here, but you have room to put a heater in there or any biomedia or carbon extra carbon or floss, you know. But just to let you know as a warning, that anytime you use it outside of the manufacturer's suggested use of it, if you're going beyond using this and you're putting your own media into it and something happens, you kind of void out your own warranty. So just to let you know as a heads up. But that's how I normally do my tanks. Most of my tanks have biomedia, sponges, and flosses in it outside of the filter. So I have read like people were saying like the flow is too hard, and what they didn't do was remove it. Let's see. It used to be on previous videos. Used to be like right here. You used to control the flow, but I guess on this you cannot. So we will see how the flow goes. If it is too bad and too crazy, then I will have to purchase something to cipher out the flow. So what we're going to do first is add the aquarium gravel. And make sure you always wash it out before, not wash it, but rinse it out before putting it into your tank. What I do is I cut like a little hole at the top of the bag, and then I poke little multiple holes on the bag, and then just pour water into the bag, and then just let it drain out of the multiple holes. So it's, you know, I'm not making a big mess, and, you know, while trying to drain all the water out of the tank. So I want to, is right here, I want to make sure that's clear. So I'm kind of like pushing everything upward towards this way to give it like a slanted slope type of deal going on. And you can decorate it however you want to do it. Okay, off camera I did add plants to it. I looked in the stash of plants that I had and added it to it. Sorry about trying to angle it. Okay. I have my water, and we go. Just not too hot, not too cold water. I do like that the cord that comes with it, it's a splitter, so it controls the power to the light and the power to the filter. So instead of you having two separate cords for the light and the filter, you have one. So I like that. It frees up extra outlets. And then I'm doing it this way with the cup so I don't disturb the substrate. And I'm just gonna fill it up halfway because I'm planning to put this over on my stand. I don't want it to be too heavy for me to carry it over there. So unfortunately, my camera went dead as I put the tank on the shelf and added the rest of the water and the products. So here is the tank. It has been cycling for about 12 hours right now. That is why it's cloudy, because I did add the Microbe-Lift new tank start. Sorry, I'm getting tongue tied again. And I added the Microbe-Lift special blend bacteria into the tank, and I also dechlorinated the water with Seachem Prim as well. So as I stated earlier, that I did add some media from a established tank to help with the beneficial bacteria, and I also had a piece of a sponge that was from a previous tank as well to help with the cycle. And then I had, if you see this, like, what is this? This is the betta leaf. So I added that from another tank, and because this had like some bacteria on it, I put that in there to help as well, to just build up the nitrifying cycle of the tank. So I'm going to test the water to see how everything is going, see how my other tank is doing. There go the guppies, doing fine. Here I have some baby raspberry, Harlequin raspberries. They're in there hiding somewhere, but they're in there because I saw them this morning when I fed them. So that's how good. how that tank is. The reason the water is so clear on this one, and this tank, I put them in there 2 days ago, is because I had this tank running for like over a month now, and I have an established sponge filter in there. I don't know why am I getting tongue tied. I have an established sponge filter in there, so that's why the water is so clear, and all my levels are perfect right now. So let's begin with doing the testing. Okay, it's been 12 hours since I had the tanks set up with all the chemicals in it and letting everything cycle, so I wanted to test it. When I tested last night, maybe 4 hours after I set it up, the ammonia was high, the nitrate was high, the nitrite was high. So we're gonna test it again and see how everything is turning out. So I'm gonna here is the chart. So the first we did was ammonia. So ammonia, we're good. So the next I did was the nitrate. Yellow, we're good. Nitrite, light blue, we're good. And as far as the pH, we're at a 7.6. So this is after this is after 12 hours of cycling, and that's using the Seachem Prim dechlorinator and using the Microbe-Lift Special Blend and Water Care products, which will help jumpstart your tank, because that product, just like no shade to Seachem Stability, but Seachem Stability and some other products that has nitrifying bacteria, they have nitrifying bacteria that are spores that once they're activated in the water, then they become, the bacteria to help, stabilize your tank. Whereas Micro-Lift products, they are actual bacteria and not spores. So not only do it nitrify, it speeds up the nitrification cycle, but it also helps maintain and clean your tank. So it's not just only to use just to jumpstart your tank. Like if your tank is cloudy, if you have a lot of that bacteria, goo, sludge at the bottom of your tank, the bacteria eats it, so it helps you do less water changes. Eventually you do have to do water changes, but with those products, you can, instead of doing water changes every 2 weeks, you may do it maybe once a month or maybe a month and a half. Just depends on how big your tank is, how many fish you have. So that's how those products work. So as you can see, even though the tank is cloudy, you see with the test that we just did for that master kit, that even though it's cloudy, all the water has tested well. The pH level is at a 7.6. Nitrate is at 0. Nitrate was at 0. And the ammonia was at 0. So all of them leveled out where they're supposed to be after only 12 hours of cycling. So this is actually now safe to add a fish in. You don't have to worry about anything happening if the fish is going to die because you're worried about if it's not cycled correctly. And as I stated, this is from using the Micro-Lift products and using the Seachem Prim dechlorinator. So here go my other tanks. So this will be a beta tank as well. I'm planning to get a beta either today, tomorrow, at least before the weekend, but the week is up. Today is Thursday, so I'm going to try to get it sometime this week. I'll probably add a snail in there. I'm not going to add, because like most of my beta tanks have shrimp and snails, and I'll probably just add, since this is only a 2.5 gallon, I'm only going to add 1 beta fish and 1 snail in here just to keep the upkeep on the tank. Plus I like snails. So as I said before, don't worry about that. That's just bacteria that built up from when I had it in this tank. He doesn't really care for the betta leaf, so hopefully the next one does. Lloyd Christmas, he loves the bulb plants that I got from Petco. They come in a pack. I think it's like $5.99 a pack. So, and this is after, well, this is like, I had it in a tank for like 2 weeks now, but it was like sprouting within 2 to 3 days. And it was really nothing much I really did. I just put it in the soil and it sprouted, and he loves it. So he hides in it, he sleeps in it. So that's why they call it the betta buddy plant. So I would recommend to check that out. I may put one in here because almost every betta plant except the one in my living room, I don't have that plant in, but like I have it in this betta tank, this one, and then my children, I put some in those. Please excuse me if it seems like I'm rambling. I have to sometimes cut myself off because I seem like I'm starting to ramble, so just bear with me. So my final thoughts on this tank is I really like this tank. I have seen previous reviews on this tank stating that the flow is real heavy, that you gotta either adjust it, or some people didn't know that you could adjust it. But with this tank, you do not need to adjust the flow because the flow is really low. Not too low, but low enough that it would not blow your betta tank around. So it's only one setting. As soon as you put it in, it's just a very light flow. So I like that. I like that it has an extra compartment. It's a big enough compartment that you can put the filter that came with it in there when you do refills of the filter. And it actually has a compartment to hide your heater. Every tank that I have has a heater. I know some people may have a heater for their betta, some may not. I prefer to have a heater for my betta because I live in Indiana, so it is now in November and it's starting to get cold, so I prefer to have a heater in all my tanks. I love that it has because it's only 2.5 gallons, you only need a little small compartment, so even if you get the little square top fin, the 10-watt top fin heater that you've seen in the thumbnail, or any little nice size heater, the little flat ones like this one, and then hopefully you can see that in the back. You can fit those into this little compartment. I like about the compartment, you can modify it, meaning if you don't want to buy constant refills for this tank or for this filtration system, you can create your own by adding whatever type of media, whether it be carbon media, biomedia, floss, sponges. It has enough room to do so. Right now I have the filter that came in it when it comes time, and I have the filter that came with it, and I also have my own biomedia from a previous tank in it as well. So that will help with the I wanted to add one extra disclaimer because I just thought about it. Just if you do not have any decorations or items in your tank that has been an established tank, do not worry about that. You can still set up your tank even if you don't have any established media to put in your tank to help speed up the cycling process. So you can still use those products and it still work. Just go ahead and test it after 12 to 24 hours. If it still seems like your numbers are off, still just let it cycle for a couple of days. Do not change out the water because if you keep changing out the water during the beginning of the cycle, you're just slowing down the process of the bacteria building up because you're constantly dumping water out and into the tank. So if your numbers, if you do it and it works for you within 12 to 24 hours, congrats. If you still feel like, okay, I did it and the numbers is not where it should be, just do it per the instructions on how to use these products on the box and just let it keep cycling and then test it every day. So I want to let that disclaimer be known. What else do I like about it? I like the sleek design. You can have it sideways like this. You can turn the other way and have it facing forward. As far as the light, it's like a touch light. Let me find like right here. There's a little button at the top. It only just turns white. There's no blue or red option. It's just white. It does not have a timer. It's high enough that, you know, you don't have to worry about water splashing. The glass lid, I like, you have the little clips right here. You only have this opening here is to not only help put in food, but also when you want to lift up the glass, you know. Would I recommend this tank? I would. If I didn't, I would definitely send it back. I would recommend this tank. It's a nice tank to have on your desk. It's a nice tank that you want to get for your child. Just to start them out, you know, with something, because I know around this time of the year, some parents may want to go and buy fish and, you know, start their kids on how to learn how to take care of fish. I think this would be the perfect tank if you're trying to get a betta fish tank. So it's small enough for them to take care of. It's small, you know, the glass. If if you think that your child is responsible enough to handle a glass tank, I think this is pretty sturdy for $29.99. I'm not sure at the time of this video if it still is, or whatever time that you're watching it, but I really do like this tank. I like the gray backing on it. I'm used to some tanks have black, but this has gray and I think it's real pretty. This might be good. Like, you don't have to set it up this way where I have it high right there and low right here. The only reason I did that is because the filtration is right here. You probably can't fill it up. It probably would clean the top and the bottom of the water, filter it if you did put your substrate, you know, up against here. So, I mean, you know, at your own, you know, discretion. What else? I like the sturdy little base right here, so on 4 corners. As I stated previously, the cord is a splitter, so you only have 1 outlet instead of 2 for your light and the filtration. The only thing you probably need to add is a heater and, of course, a bubbler. I know some people don't, you know, bettas don't necessarily need a bubbler or air filtration, but to help cycle the tank much faster, to keep the water moving and creating oxygen in the tank, I prefer to have a bubbler in there to create, you know, oxygen in there to get everything going. So I prefer that. So like I said, I prefer having a heater in there, and I think that's pretty much it. If you have any other questions or concerns, or if you enjoy this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you don't like it, please like, comment, subscribe. You know, this will greatly appreciate. I would greatly appreciate any kind of feedback for my channel. This helps me if I'm doing something wrong, or it helps me if I'm doing something right. And I hope this was helpful for you. So, enough of my rambling. I hope you have a great day and enjoy being a fish keeper.